कि दिल्ली गैंगरेप के बाद एक कमेटी बनाई गई थी, रिपोर्ट उसे सौंपना था। जेएस वर्मा ने अभी से कुछ देर पहले ये रिपोर्ट सौंप दी है। तमाम सवाल जरूर उठे थे कि किस तरीके से कानून को और कड़ा किया जाए, प्रावधान ऐसे बनाए जाएं कि उनका शिकंजा कसे आरोपियों पर, उसका डर बने अपराधियों में, और किस तरीके के वो संशोधन हो सकते हैं, किस तरीके से वो बदलाव हो सकते हैं, क्या प्रस्तावित है, उस सब से संबंधित है यह रिपोर्ट जिसे सौंप दिया गया है। कड़े कानून की वकालत करते हुए यह रिपोर्ट पेश किया गया है। बलात्कार से संबंधित किस तरीके से कानून में बदलाव किया जाए। जेएस वर्मा अध्यक्ष थे इस कमेटी के। आपको याद होगा कि देश भर से सुझाव मांगे गए थे। जितने भी संगठन हैं, चाहे वो महिला संगठन हो या एनजीओज हो या आम लोग हों, सबसे ये सुझाव मांगे गए थे कि किस तरीके के बदलाव लाए जाएं जिसके बाद इस तरह के जो गुनाह होते हैं उन पर शिकंजा कसा जा सके, जो अपराधी हैं उनके मन में खौफ ज्यादा बढ़े, और उसके बाद जन संशोधन है जो प्रस्तावित किए गए हैं रेप कानून में बदलाव के लिए, ये सुझाव दिए गए हैं। जस्टिस वर्मा ने ये रिपोर्ट सौंपी। एक महीने पहले ये काम शुरू किया गया था। अलग अलग जगहों से ये जो सुझाव आते गए उन्हें एक जगह इकट्ठा करके उनमें देखा गया कि कौन से संशोधन हैं जिन्हें प्रस्तावित किया जा सकता है, पेश किया जा सकता है, कितने सही हैं, सटीक हैं। और एक महीने के वक्त में, एक महीने के दरमियान ये रिपोर्ट तैयार की गई है और जस्टिस जेएस वर्मा कमेटी ने ये रिपोर्ट सौंप दी है। हमारे साथ हमारे संवाददाता संदीप सोनवलकर इस पर और जानकारी के साथ मौजूद हैं। जी संदीप।
देखिए, जस्टिस वर्मा कमेटी ने अपनी रिपोर्ट दे दी है। उनके बाद करीब 16,000 लोगों के एक तरह के सजेशन आए थे, लेकिन जस्टिस वर्मा ने तमाम कानूनी पहलुओं के बाद देखने के बाद सरकार को यह सुझाव दिया है कि रेयरेस्ट ऑफ द रेयर, खासतौर पर दिल्ली के जो गैंगरेप केस हुआ उस तरह की घटनाओं में फांसी की सजा पर विचार किया जा सकता है। ये बात उन्होंने साफ तौर पर एक बात पर कही है कि जो कानून है उसको खासतौर पर कई मामलों में देखे जाने की जरूरत है। जुवेनाइल एक्ट में उन्होंने संशोधन करने की बात सजेशन दिया है। 3 बजे जस्टिस वर्मा अपनी तमाम रिपोर्ट को उजागर करेंगे मीडिया के सामने, लेकिन जो रिपोर्ट है वो साफ तौर पर यह बताती है कि गैंगरेप को लेकर किसी तरह की कोई कोताही नहीं बरती जानी चाहिए। सरकार के लेवल पर उन्होंने कहा कि तीनों चारों कानून में जो आईपीसी का हो या सीआरपीसी हो, चारों कानून जो है उनके जो गैंगरेप की बात है, सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट की बात है, इनमें संशोधन किया जाना चाहिए। ईवी टीजिंग को भी लेकर उन्होंने कहा कड़े प्रावधान किए जाने चाहिए।
तो संदीप, जो ये संशोधनों की बात की गई है, जो प्रस्तावित संशोधन है रेप कानून में, ये क्या महिलाओं की सुरक्षा को लेकर, हम छेड़खानी से लेकर बलात्कार, सामूहिक बलात्कार, या फिर जो जिस तरीके से आप बता रहे हैं कि रेयरेस्ट ऑफ द रेयर मामले के ही लिए ये संशोधनों को प्रस्ताव किया गया है?
रेयरेस्ट ऑफ द रेयर मामला एक मामला है जिसको लेकर एक विशेष कहा गया है, लेकिन समूचे कानून में तमाम, चाहे महिलाओं की छेड़खानी का मसला हो, चाहे रेप का मसला हो या फिर सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट का मसला हो, इन सब चीजों में संशोधन करने का उन्होंने ये कहा कि जो सरकार का बिल पेंडिंग है लोकसभा में, उसी में संशोधन कर दिए जाए ताकि एक साथ संशोधन, अलग से कोई कानून शायद ना बनाने की जरूरत पड़े। लेकिन रेयरेस्ट ऑफ द रेयर जो दिल्ली गैंगरेप का मसला है उसमें फांसी की सजा के तौर पर उन्होंने निश्चित तौर पर रिकमेंडेशन किया।
बहुत शुक्रिया संदीप सोनवलकर, हमारे संवाददाता दिल्ली से हमें यह जानकारी दे रहे हैं। जाहिर है मांग बहुत उठी थी कि क्यों ना मौत की सजा दी जाए ऐसे अपराधियों को जो इस तरह की निर्ममता करते हैं। और उसके बाद से ही यह कहा गया कि चूंकि कोई एक ऐसा संगठन सामने नहीं आ रहा था, जो विरोध प्रदर्शन चल रहा था उसमें समाज के हर तबके के लोग नजर आ रहे थे, और उसी मंथन के दौरान यह सोचा गया कि क्यों ना सबसे प्रस्ताव मंगाए जाएं। और देखिए 16,000 लोग, ऐसा बता रहे हैं हमारे संवाददाता संदीप सोनवलकर कि 16,000 लोग हैं जिन्होंने अपनी तरफ से ये प्रस्ताव भेजे थे, जिनमें से छानकर एक रिपोर्ट तैयार की गई। जस्टिस जेएस वर्मा ने रिपोर्ट सौंपी है अभी कि किस तरीके से बलात्कार संबंधी कानून में संशोधन किया जाए। उनकी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस शुरू हुई है, सीधे चलते हैं।
वाइड सपोर्ट व्हिच ऑल ऑफ यू हैव गिवन एंड व्हिच हैज कम इवन विदाउट आवर आस्किंग फ्रॉम पर्सन्स whom we were able to contact for the first time. I think personally I am greatly indebted to the youth because but for them, this issue would not have come up. And even though the issue was raised in a big way by the youth of this country, who have shown the way how good governance can be achieved, but they have done it in such a mature manner that even at my age, I thought it was something which was a novel experience for me. The maturity with which, I won't call it a movement, it was a spontaneous show of the feeling which the youth have for this most important feature, something which the governance by much older people, they were insensitive to. I was struck by the peaceful manner in which people, not knowing each other, when I used to watch the news on the TV, I could see anyone standing there didn't know the person on the right or the left, but they had all risen to the occasion and come. And what was most satisfying was that it was the young men who were conscious that this injustice, this gender justice, has got to be certainly got away with, and the constitutional guarantee of equality, which is there more in rhetoric than in practice, is brought to retire. Now, even when there was provocation, they did not react and they continued to maintain their calm. It was really a very humbling experience for us who are much older in age. I could not imagine. And, well, if I may say so, that is something which I'm an incurable optimist. That's why I keep involving myself in things which many people think can't be done. But then, the kind of satisfaction I have had in being involved in this exercise is not matched by anything, and I'm fairly old to say that I've had a lot of experience, but nothing like this, nothing like this. This goes to show that the youth have taught to us of the older generation something of which we were unaware, and this is the real hope of the country, for the future of our nation. And I think this is the brightest feature of the brightest aspect of this entire exercise. Let me be a little more specific now. Of course, it's not possible to name everyone in the country and outside who has contributed to the task. Well, this report may go by my name, but it's not, just for the sake of show. But I say it and I mean it. Well, mine is only the name. The contribution of everyone else is far greater. The young people you see sitting behind me, the youngest member of the team who led them, they are the real contributors. They are the real contributors. And and that is the real hope and the assurance that this is only the beginning and this will be carried forward. But in our country we have seen so many high programs being talked of, but after some time nothing is heard of them. But I have no doubt that all of them, with all of you, you are going to ensure that what we have tried to do will be fully implemented. Now, with these few preliminary remarks, well, as I said, I can't name everyone who has contributed, but it is my duty also to acknowledge particularly some people from foreign countries who, having come to know that this exercise was on, they have volunteered and continued to help us all the time. When I look back, I myself can't believe how all this was possible within 29 days. when I offered to do it in 30 days, well, I thought, I didn't realize the magnitude of the task, but things started happening. And people coming to know they have been helping. May I name a few of those persons from abroad? There are quite a few, but some who were involved throughout, professors, judges and whatnot. I'd like to name a few of them. Professor Sandra Friedman of the Oxford University, Professor Laura Heona of Oxford University, Professor Daniel Rosenfeld of the Harvard, Professor Shlomit Wallerstein of the Oxford University, Professor David Wilkins of the Harvard University, Judge Michael Kirby of Australia, Chief Justice Beverly McLean of Canadian Supreme Court, of her own. You see, then Dr. Shekhar Shetadri from Nemansya, Dr. Samir Malhotra of AIMS, Dr. Shanta Sinha, who took the trouble to help us, a student of Oxford, Anirudh Mathur, another student here, Prateek Chadda. I don't have to name the people who are sitting behind me. You must have seen them throughout. So this is the kind of overwhelming support, and but for that it could not be done. May I now begin by first in telling you the methodology we have tried to adopt, because you will appreciate the time constraint was such that and also let me say, if I personally was brusque with any one of you or many of you, it was only to save time, and therefore most of the time I was not available. So I'm sorry for that, but then I thought it was justified because the time was needed for other things. The methodology which we adopted in this committee was like this. We said, the committee adopted the method of inviting suggestions from all stakeholders through a public notice. In addition, it interacted with a number of experts, social activists, interest groups, through their representatives to elicit their views on the subject. For the purpose of further elaboration of some of their suggestions, the committee also invited a number of representatives, eminent academics, for an oral interaction that you saw here only on the 19th and 20th we had. The committee directed the Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, to issue a public notice inviting suggestions and recommendations, etc. Now that was done 23rd late night. The decision was made, and 24th itself, the next morning at 11 o'clock, this direction was given, and the next day the public notice was published, you see, inviting suggestions by January 5th. Well, the number of responses which came, there were almost 80,000. But I can assure you, these young people sitting behind me, each one of those responses was read. It's not that anyone was ignored. Then the committee also addressed letters. See, I wrote letters, myself on behalf of the committee, to high dignitaries, including all chief justices, chief ministers, academia, women's organizations, etc., in addition to the public notice. Now, that's a long list. I'm not reading out the entire list, because we wanted as much information as we could get from all the stakeholders. Well, quite a few of them responded, and we have taken into account all of those things. Then continuously, even though I was not meeting, but then the method we had adopted was Mr. Gopal Subramaniam, you see, on behalf of the committee, I don't know how many persons he met, and he didn't refuse to meet anyone who wanted to come and meet him in addition to doing the work, which he was doing all along. Then the data which was collected, it was phenomenal, unbelievable. And let me tell you, the entire office of Mr. Gopal Subramaniam was the infrastructure for this committee. But for that, it would just not have been possible. And I don't want to embarrass him, but you see, he did not spend a single minute during this entire period to do his normal professional work, which in this mercenary world itself, I think is something to be taken note of, which goes to show the extent of devotion. And I would be failing in my duty if I do not mention Geeta, his wife. But for her support in the office and otherwise, we would not have been able to do what we have been doing. So the committee engaged in in-depth global research to gather material for reaching its conclusions and crafting the proposed amendments in legislation. The committee also analyzed past judgments, reviewed the trajectory of public policy and its sensitivity towards gender, and inquired into the differences of socio-political contexts